Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. Today we're going to be looking at playing Saturn games on the Anbernic RG552. Now we have previously played the games in our review video on the Linux side, and the performance was actually pretty decent. And what we're going to do primarily on this video is looking at the Linux side and how the Saturn games perform on there. Let's go. So guys, the best way of playing Saturn games on the Android side is the Yaba Sanshiro app. You can play through RetroArch, but I felt the performance wasn't quite as good as using this sort of app, which is perfect for Saturn games. Now you have to sort of point the app towards where you've got your game saved. You just need to go through that process. It's pretty painful. I don't have that many games to showcase, but there's a few here that are definitely worth checking out and seeing what the performance is like. So guys, we're going to get started with this one. This one was already preloaded to the actual memory card I had, which is a kind of a shoot 'em up game called Paradius Sexy, I think it's pronounced, but it's not bad. It's quite good fun to play. I'm not a big shoot 'em up fan, but this one was quite good fun. Quite weird, quite quirky, and it plays really well. But obviously this game isn't necessarily going to be pushing the Saturn to its limits. And it plays well without any massive issues at all, so that's pretty good. So you can actually mess about with the settings and changing the graphic resolutions and frame skip, etc. But I haven't really got many sort of things clicked on. I've got the enable frame skip on. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. It's really up to you what you prefer to actually set up playing the game. Anyway, let's get stuck into Daytona. So playing through this game, the frame rate wasn't quite hitting the 60 frames per second. You can see it was kind of all over the place. I'm not really sure if putting frame skip on or off was probably making it better or worse. You can see that the sort of performance is a little bit all over the place. It was handling okay. I mean, the game was actually playing alright. It just, you can see maybe here the sound wasn't particularly great. But it was playing. I mean, it was playing. There was no massive issues with how it was actually handling, but you can see it's not really quite perfect. It's not quite hitting the 60 frames per second. It's quite a good way off, but it's definitely playable at least.
Sega Rally Championship. Three, 2, 1, go! Easy right. Easy left.
So here we are, we're moving on to sort of Sega Rally, and it's definitely a lot better than Daytona for sure. You can see there's still a little bit of sound issues, I think, as you can probably hear, but it looks alright. It's playing pretty decent enough. No massive issues I could see. Not really sure if the sort of graphical tearing is really what you would have seen on the original Saturn. I'm not really sure, I never had one, so I can't really tell. But handle wise, it's actually playing pretty decent. And it's definitely playable. I've obviously played this in a lot of other systems before, and it's been completely unplayable. So to have it in this form, it's actually pretty playable. It is quite good. It's not perfect, I don't think, but it's pretty good.
Finish! Very long, easy left. Checkpoint. Medium left. Wow. Medium left, baby. Long, medium right. Wow. Caution, hairpin right. Checkpoint. Wow. Stay left. Wow. Medium right. Wow. Easy right, easy left. Wow. Long, medium right. Easy right.
So guys, here we move on to Virtua Fighter 2, which it doesn't have a lot of sound anyway in the game, but it actually seems to be playing alright. It seems to be a wee bit slow, but if I recall, Virtua Fighter wasn't exactly a huge fast fighter back in the day anyway. But as far as I could tell, the game was playing okay. It was pretty solid. I think there's definitely some issues with the sound here and there, to be honest, but it's playing fine. It's playing absolutely fine. You can definitely get a few rounds of fighting going absolutely no problem.
No way you can stop me! Yeah!
So guys, here we move on to Radiant Silvergun, which was a kind of a shoot 'em up, which obviously I'm not a fan of, but this is actually a pretty good game, and it seems to handle and play particularly well. And it's a really decent game. I noticed this was actually a free game on Xbox Live recently, which is quite cool, and this is a really decent version. And it plays really well, as you can see. Not any massive issue, occasional maybe stuttering in the sound again, but overall it's definitely playable. The performance is pretty decent. So here we move on to Panda Dragon A2, which is actually playing really well. This one actually surprised me. I thought that it would probably struggle with the fact there's a lot of sort of 3D graphics and sort of larger area going on, but the gameplay seemed pretty good. It was playing extremely well. Didn't see any massive graphical glitches or sound issues either, which was really decent. Seemed like a really good game. Interestingly enough, the first Panda Dragon game I played on was probably the Xbox, funny enough, rather than the Sega console. But it's quite a good fun game to play. Definitely recommend this one. Okay guys, I have to jump back to the Linux side to play the next game, which didn't want to play on Android for some reason, don't know why, but this is Nights into Dreams, which plays really well on the Android side anyway. There's no issues. It's probably the best playable version I've seen of it for a while, to be honest. Very little issues with frame rates or sound. It seems to be playing extremely well. And I actually quite enjoyed playing this. I'm not really entirely sure what you're supposed to do in the game, to be honest. But it plays well, it's quite good fun. I guess you're sort of collecting lots of stuff and going through hoops. A nice little game, but it's definitely a little bit on the bizarre side. But I guess anyone that sort of didn't have a Saturn probably missed out on this game. It did appear on, I'm sure they had a version on this on the Xbox 360 at some point. But it's still a decent little game, you should definitely have a bash. So guys, that's our look at playing Saturn games on the Anbernic RG552. The performance is pretty good, not perfect right enough, but the games are playable. I've not tried that many, but what I did try, the performance was pretty decent. Some not perfect, but definitely worth a go. Guys, thanks for watching. Catch you again next time. Bye for now.